Have you ever asked God, what is this life all about? Or what is your purpose in this life? Why are you going through the experiences that you're going through in life right now? My name is Mccullom, and today I want to share my thoughts with you about a book that has profoundly impacted my coaching philosophy, and it really shaped the legit mindset. And the name of the book is Many Lives, Many Masters by Dr. Weiss. It is for the person who's ready to actually expand their mind and really see what this life is all about. Now, Dr. Weiss, he is a traditional psychotherapist. And in this book, he recounts his experiences with the patient. Her name was Catherine, who went through past life therapy. What past life therapy is, in hypnosis, once we get a person relaxed, we allow their subconscious mind goes back to a life or another time period, potentially. If you believe in it or not, that's okay. And even for him, he was very skeptical about past life regression or past life therapy. However, his skepticism kind of was diminished when Catherine began to channel messages from space between lives. In this book, he talks about when a person dies, there's a space where they get all the learnings, like a download, like all the learnings, and their masters kind of continue to teach them so they can learn and they can grow, they can expand, and they can transform. That's where I got that from, in between lives. She was giving him messages from about his family and specifically about his dead son that she could not have known any other way. And so that his skepticism kind of went away once he really kind of delved into these sessions. He discovered that how unresolved traumas from previous lives can actually impact the current ones. As a certified clinical therapist, in my professional opinion, what he did was he went on an exploration journey with her. It was twofold. Both of them won in this situation. One was Dr. Weiss won because it helped him or helped us bring this topic to the world and gave it validity because he's a doctor, he's a scientist, he's an MD. So by MD saying, hey, I went through this with the individual, it give it more validity. It kind of really certifies that, this could be potentially true. But what the book does, it explores the power of the subconscious mind and how healing really transcends time. So we can go back in time with the subconscious mind, with the power of the subconscious mind, and heal things that are in the past. This kind of directly relates to the legit mindset, particularly in the area of growing and transforming. When I'm with clients and during a session, I might ask them, what is the root cause of this hurt? What is the root cause of this anger, sadness, fear, or guilt? What is the root cause of it? Usually people never think about the root cause. And usually in most therapy situations, people talk about what's happening right now. Why am I hurting today? Well, today is only a major significant event. The root cause is what is the first event, so that when we heal the first event, it's like a domino effect. It'll come back and heal all the rest of the events. That's my belief, and that's what has happened with my clients. So we go for the root cause, the first event. Now I ask them usually 3 questions. When did this happen? Was it before, during, or after birth? Interesting, a lot of it happened in the formative years between 0 and 5. Most traumas that most people experience, and even with Catherine, some of the trauma she experienced was during that time. So most trauma happens between 0 and 5. That's when we're going to get most of the guilt, the anger, the sadness, the limiting beliefs that we actually hold on to, or beliefs that we got from 0 to 5. When I'm doing this, I'm looking for the learnings. I'm not looking for exploration like Dr. Weiss did. Dr. Weiss was, to me, as I said before, he was exploring not only for Catherine's benefit, but his own personal benefit. And it opened up his world. It expanded his own personal worldview. So I was saying before, when I'm asking the client, was it before, during, or after birth? Sometimes they said it was before birth. Sometimes they say it's in the womb. But we have to understand, and if you read the book of Biology of Beliefs by Dr. Bruce Lipton, he talks about the fact that even when the mother is carrying a child, energy is transferred to the child, negative or positive. So we have to be very careful about how we actually treat our bodies and our minds during that period of time. Now, when I'm saying before birth, what I'm actually asking is that where the subconscious mind is going to go? It could go there. I don't know. As I said before, I've had a person who was traumatized. I asked them that question, and it was on sadness. They went all the way back 5 lives to a time where she was a slave and her child was taken from her, and so it caused her sadness. Whatever the subconscious mind comes up with is okay, because the purpose of it is to heal the current trauma. That's what I do. I help people heal their current trauma so that they can move forward to be the best version of themselves. So when getting back to the book, so now we have Dr. Weiss. He actually did this deep exploration with Catherine and found out that she had past lives that had a lot of trauma. The question is then, well, how did I get here? I mean, how did I even get to the book? For me, the book came into my life for one simple reason. For years, I've been asking God, what is this life all about? For years, I used to ask that question. What is this life all about? What's my purpose? Why am I here? Why am I experiencing this journey? You know, I was born and raised in a Christian home. My dad was a pastor for over 50 years before he passed away. I was a pastor of a church for about 4 years. So I know I'm very, very versed when it comes to the Bible. I went to church every Sunday and every Wednesday night. I sang in the choir. I did everything, all those things and much, much more. What it did for me, I had appreciation for it because it actually fostered a belief in God and fortified my faith in Him. That's what it did. Because the messages was laced with guilt, fear, and shame, it didn't give me any hope. I always lived in doubt, not knowing whether I was going to go to heaven or hell. Let me explain to you what I mean by that is. As a clinical hypnotherapist, what we try to keep the person in what we call parasympathetic nervous system, the anatomic nervous system broken off into parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system. The sympathetic nervous system is fear, fight or flight, meaning that every time I would go to church, even though it was uplifting, in the end, I felt fearful because I felt if I did anything wrong, I was going to go to hell. I just felt like I was like this, like I got to fight or got to run. And so that basically does something to the nervous system. It does something to the body because the body is in a position to now it needs to protect itself. And so that's how I felt. But my thing is, because what was taught was all complicated. To me, it was laced with beliefs. It was laced with personal agendas. It was laced with dogmas. One scripture that continues to ring in my head is from John chapter 4. And Jesus was talking to the woman at the well. If you can call the story the woman of the well, she was a woman who had many husbands or many men, and she was not married to any. And she was like talking to Jesus at the well, and Jesus says, there's going to come a time where you don't have to go to the mountain or go to Jerusalem to worship God. So what that means to me is that there's going to come a time where you don't have to worry about place. God is not looking for place. God is looking for the spirit. Jesus said, I'm quoting him. He says it's going to come an hour that he's not looking for that. God is not looking for place. He says he's looking for a true worshiper, a worship that worships the Father in spirit and in truth. And that's what he kind of seeks. That's what he's looking for. To me, that's simple. That's not difficult, guys. It's not difficult. So when we're going through life is really simple. It's not this difficult thing that we have to go through. And what I learned was, and from this book, life is simple. It's all about learning. It's all about growing, and it's all about expanding and transforming. Once again, how did I get to this book? Well, last year, a technician was performing hydrocolonics, and she recommended the book. She knew what I did. She knew that I was a coach. I was a certified clinical hypnotherapist, and she thought the book would really resonate with me. Just like most things, people always recommending books to me or something to me or trying to get me to read something. And so I said, okay, I did buy the book. I bought the book. I put it, like I said, I bought it, but I didn't read it. Nudges, intuition, sometimes we just don't act on it. Well, that moment passed. And then I met my friend, Coach Kevin. He's in Arkansas, and he was coming to Vegas to visit his son. I live in Southern California, and I'm about 3 or 4, 5 hours from him. So I said, hey man, you coming this close to California, I'll just drive and meet you. So I met him, and we met for dinner that night. And the first thing he asked me, it may not be the first thing, but within the first part of the conversation, the first thing he asked me was, what's your thoughts about reincarnation? I'm like, oh boy, man, that's a heavy duty subject for, over dinner. So we kind of laughed about it and we talked about it. But then what that thought brought me back to the book, Many Lives, Many Masters by Dr. Brian Weiss. She was imploring me. The young lady said, look, you got to read that book. You have to read that book. When one, I got another confirmation from my friend about reincarnation or past lives, I got to read the book. So I read the book and wow, did it resonate with me really well. That's the book. When I was reading the book and reading the lives between the lives, that's why I came up with the ideal of the legit mindset. That's where it all came from. Helping individuals to unlock their full potential to empower their lives. That's, to me, was the fascinating thing about this particular book. So how does it integrate with even what I teach now with the philosophy? Because that's where I got it from. I mean, I got it the fact that we all have traumas, and some traumas is not even in this lifetime. It could be in a past life. So what it does, it teaches us that we can be aware of patterns that shape our current behaviors. It's offer learning opportunities from past lives. Look, everything we do and everything we experience is for our learning. Think about it. If we take that as a way of living, 3 years ago this month, if you're reading it, looking at this book, and this is 2024 of May, my son transitioned to this life to the next life 3 years ago this year. And that was a traumatic experience, and it was a learning experience. I mean, it taught me so much. I learned, I grew, I expanded, I transformed. Part of my life now, the way I live life and the way I teach now, the way my being and my connection with him on a spiritual level now is totally different. That's a learning experience. It's about growing. It reveals the importance that facing and releasing limiting beliefs and fears. That's what I specialize in, helping you to release any limiting beliefs or fears that actually preventing you from becoming the best version of yourself. So when you talk about coaching, I'm not a life coach. I call myself a life coach in some scenarios just for people to relate. I'm not that. I'm more than that. Basically, what I teach and I share with people is we go through a breakthrough experience so that you can actually know what makes you tick, so that you know how now to operate the subconscious mind that actually rules all our behavior. It's about expanding. The past life regression or the past life therapy, it opened up new perspectives beyond the immediate experiences. It was helping her to expand, and it helped him to expand his worldview and transforming. Ultimately, acknowledging and healing the past is what it's all about. I mean, you have to heal the past. The traumas allows us to transform into our highest selves. You know, I always believe that we have everything within us to become the best version of ourselves. So my job is to help you get there. And this book taught me exactly what I've always thought. So when you're embracing these principles, you can achieve your personal breakthrough and move towards fulfillment. Are you ready to transform your life? I highly suggest that you read this book. And if you like, I would be more than happy to develop a group here on Facebook, or a group that we can get together and kind of go over the principles of the book and kind of go through it and see where you are. Or if you just want to meet with me personally, let's start a conversation. And what book have you read that made such an impact in your life that now really fosters your current philosophy? Let's share those books. Let me know. But the journey starts now towards reaching your full potential, living your empowered life. Please like and subscribe. Go to my YouTube channel, like and subscribe, and become a part of my YouTube channel. We need to grow that channel because we have some really good information. A lot more people need to understand how to live their lives. As I said before, my name is Curtis Mccullom, your human potential coach, wishing you the best. Live the full potential, living an empowered life.